Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be here with you. Excited to get into our Friday review. This is episode 2772. If you want to check out all of today's product reviews, as well as the research and takeaways, head on over to stevencabral.com/2772. All right, today we're going to get started right out of the gates before we get to our book review of the week. Really important one, something that I just shared with a private wellness client. I would love to be able to share the same review. And then also a quick tip of the day. So one that I don't want you to forget as we live in this toxic-based soup of a world, talking about the organ of the body that's able to help you through all of that. And then two interesting research studies that I think are important and will be important to check out. Before we get to those, just want to make sure that I get you the updates of the week. So next week starts our community detox. So I just want you to know that you're aware of that, whether you're joining us or not. That's amazing. We want to be able to support you however we can. But if you've not yet started a fall-based functional medicine detox, I can't recommend that enough. If you have no idea what a functional medicine detox is, it's literally the number one thing we start with all of our wellness clients. So basically, we meet with them, we do a consultation, and then from there, we'll recommend some at-home lab testing if they choose to go that path. And then after they run the labs, we automatically move into a functional medicine detox. 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days, depending on the health of the individual and how much we need to improve. And by far and away, it is the most successful thing you can do before beginning any other protocol. And the reason is it opens up the liver detox pathways and it begins to work on bile drainage and even kidney-based detox. Again, if you don't know what any of this means, it's really not complicated. And what I want to do is share with you a free course, literally completely free. And you can watch it on your own time. And it's at stevencabral.com/courses. If you click on the detox one, it's completely free. Check it out. And it's something that I just wanted to film for you because I've been using this particular type of detox since about 2010 in my practice. And it has been a game changer for my wellness clients. It's the number one place we start before moving on then to a gut protocol, mold protocol, parasite protocol, heavy metal detox, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So that's, at stevencabral.com/courses, click on the detox one, completely free. All right. So I begin Monday with over 10,000 people for sure from our community and hope that you'll check it out as well. For that detox that I am talking about, besides the course, that's at stevencabral.com/detox, and you'll be able to find out more about that. All right, going on over at EquiLife this week, we are giving away a product for the winter. I know it's just after Labor Day in the United States. I get that. I understand. But from what I've heard from the sources that be, there will be an uptake in viruses this winter. Who knows if that will be the case or not? Either way, I don't worry about those things. I tell my family not to worry about them. I tell my private wellness clients not to worry about them. I'm telling you not to worry about them either. And here's why. We're going to make sure that we use that immune system that we were given, right? That we were born with, and we can just boost that to a degree as we need it. One of the ways that we can do that is through zinc. All natural zinc, a mineral that comes from the ground. Now, all we want to do is be able to boost that in times of need. On a daily basis, you can get anywhere from 15 to 30, maybe even up to 50 milligrams a day total of zinc from your diet and nutritional supplements. And when you're not feeling well, you can increase that dosage for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Again, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but a product that we use in our practice when that happens is either Balanced Zinc, or for an even bigger boost, we have a product called FM Zinc. That's about a $40 value. We're going to give you that completely free on all qualifying orders while supplies last, because we do cut off our limit, and that is at stevencabral.com/shop. That'll just direct you over to my wellness practice, a global functional medicine practice, and that's EquiLife. So you can find it at stevencabral.com/shop for a free bottle of FM Zinc, which stands for Functional Medicine Zinc, because it's the absorbable form the body uses, and that's free on all qualifying purchases. Get ready for potentially a winter of colds, viruses. Boost that immune system with vitamin D3, vitamin C, and zinc. All right. So podcast recap for the last week. Monday's show was our Mindset and Motivation Monday. I hope you tuned in for that. One of my favorite shows. I love being able to record those for you. And this was do what makes you happy and why that may actually be bad advice. Find out why on that show. Tuesday's show was the differential stress resistance hypothesis against cancer. It's a mouthful, but it's going to teach you why some things may be more successful for cancer than others. On Wednesday's show, do low-carb diets lead to depression? I'll share with some research there as to how certain diets and what they do for the neurotransmitters inside of your body. And then yesterday's show was foods and supplements that protect your brain and BDNF as you age. All right, that's the first of 3 parts, so definitely check that out as well. All shows are at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right, we're going to go over today's book review of the week. This is a book recommendation that I just gave a client. I want to give it to you as well. I've read a lot of books now on psychology. I started reading psychology-based books. I'd say I did read them. I read them a little bit before, in my later teenage, early 20 years, but not so much because I didn't really believe in, a lot of the newer age psychology. But I started believing a lot more around 22 years old, 23 years old. And my now wife, she studied psychology in college. I started reading her textbooks. That just tells you the kind of individual that I am. And once I moved from those and I wanted to do something a little bit more applicable, I started to learn a lot more about cognitive behavioral therapy and how you could use that with athletes and for performance. And then I started reading more about the subconscious mind and all these different things. Then I started learning more about neurolinguistic programming. And then I started learning about internal family systems therapy, which is amazing. And then I started learning about healing your inner child. So the inner child-based work that Dr. Nicole LaPera does great work with, and just a lot of books on that. And so I teach a lot of that in IHP Mastery with the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. But also, this is so I've read a bunch of books on it, and they're not all that approachable. This one is. This is like a workbook. And you can see how thin it is that I'm holding it up. And it's also like an 8.5 by 12. And inside of it, it basically just gives you it's literally a workbook so if you're not working with a therapist, that you can start to see like, oh, a lot of what I'm suffering with and from as an adult goes back to my childhood. And I'm not just saying me, from like all of our childhoods. And none of our parents are perfect. Some are more perfect than others and some are less perfect, but nobody's perfect. And so when you look at it, you can begin to see, oh, this is why I may have a hang up or a particular issue around this area in my life. And then it starts to ask you particular questions. And then it gives you exercises to read through. So if you suffer from self-worth issues, or you have issues around food or weight loss or health or success in work or relationships or any of these things, most likely there is a subconscious psychological barrier holding you back. And this is just a nice, easy book to get started with. So it's called Healing Your Wounded Inner Child, a CBT workbook, which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, to overcome past trauma, face abandonment, and regain emotional stability. It's by Maria Clark. I don't know Maria, but the book is excellent, and it's a great starting point for a lot of people out there. So I wanted to share that with you, and I will link that up today at stephencabral.com/2772, where all the show notes and research will live. All right. So great book, and I don't want to get too much into it, but you can just see all these great exercises inside. If you're watching this on video, you've got a little bit of worksheets. So for example, which boundaries do you find the most difficult to uphold? Do you find it challenging to set boundaries? Like, that's just one part of it, right? And then you go over things like, what do you dislike in life? What do you like in life? So yeah, it's a great book. I'm obviously not doing it justice, which is why I want to start to read page by page, because it's about a 100-page workbook. And as you work through it from start to finish, you can obviously start to see, well, here's the thing. Even if you plan to do therapy in the future, or you're doing therapy now, it will tell you what to work on to a greater degree. And then you can also work with an expert, whether it be online or in person. And I think that we're trying to knock down the stigma around self-help, and we're trying to knock down the stigma also around therapy, like around counseling. There's nothing wrong with it. I actually think that everybody would be a better person if they did a little bit of talk therapy in some way, shape, or form. All right, so that is that. Next up, I wanted to give you a quick tip of the week. So instead of an actual product review, which I'll be doing a lot more of in the future, especially since I have like 3 different new vagal tone, heart rate variability, anti-anxiety, anti-stress, health tech-based devices that I'll be sharing with you probably over the next like 4 to 6 weeks. So a lot more to come, but today I wanted to give you a quick tip. And we do have our detox starting next week, and the main organ of detoxification is your liver. Again, I give that away in the free detox course, which I would love for you to learn more about. I just think that it's a game changer for most people. But think about this. At any given moment, your liver contains about a pint of blood. So a pint of blood, for those of that you don't know, if you have your typical mason jar, right, like that's essentially a pint of blood. And when you look at that, your body has 5 pints of blood. Now, give or take, if a larger person's going to have more blood, a smaller person's going to have less blood, but somewhere around 5 pints or 5 liters of blood. 5 liters of blood in your body. And about 13% of your body's total blood supply is in your liver at all times. Now, if you don't know what your liver is and you're watching this on video, you can see my buddy Walter here. Walter's been with me a long time. We've been doing work together since about 2010, since I really started to teach a lot more about functional medicine. But underneath the right side of your rib cage is this dark red organ. Now that dark red organ, it's dark red for a reason. It is loaded with blood. And it says about 13% of your body's blood is inside of this liver right here. Makes sense. You've got about 1 pint of it in there. Now, here's the interesting thing. That your liver filters more than a liter of blood every minute. So you have about 5 liters of blood in your body. It filters a liter of blood every minute. That means that your liver filters all of the blood in your body about every 5 to 6 minutes. That is the quote. That is the physiology behind what your liver does, because it is a filter. It's like a car filter. I've given this example in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect. When you're driving down the highway, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and you've got all the air coming through that air filter, maybe for your air conditioner, it's trying to catch as much as it can. But guess what? It can't catch everything, and neither can your liver. So when you think about that, even though your liver is literally filtering about 22 gallons of blood per hour, think about that, 22 gallons of blood per hour and more than 250 gallons per day, it's not catching everything. It's doing its best. So your liver, the more help that you can give it, the more it's going to be able to do its job. So vitamins and minerals like your zinc and your selenium and your B vitamins are all going to help with what's called phase 1. And in phase 2, your garlic and your onions and your cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale and cauliflower and bok choy, all of those add more of the sulfur-based amino acids like taurine and N-acetylcysteine, and even glycine can help, and glutathione, right? So all of these things are super beneficial. So that is how that liver works. Now, during a functional medicine detox, you give your liver more of those nutrients to be able to detox that much more efficiently and cause less what's called oxidative stress or free radical damage inside of your body. So it's absolutely remarkable. Just wanted to give you that quick tip today, especially if you're a practitioner. Now you know how hard your organ, your liver, is working all throughout the day. All right, let's get to our research here today. I'm going to pull all of my sheets over here, my paper over here. We'll start with the one that's, I wouldn't say it's depressing, but we need to know about it. But insomnia. So this is why sleep is so important. I always recommend if there's anything wrong with your sleep, please do fix your sleep, because insomnia can increase stroke risk, but not just by a little. Like, that's why I wanted to bring this study. It's legitimate. So this study was done by Dr. Sawadogo, and they are a medical doctor, masters of public health, and PhD in epidemiology at Virginia Commonwealth University. Pretty amazing. And it was also published in Neurology, and the study was done on over 31,000 people. So a legitimate study. It found, though, that insomnia was associated with a higher risk for stroke, 51% higher for severe insomnia, and 16% for those insomnia that was less severe. The link is strongest for people under the age of 50, right? So pretty remarkable. High blood pressure, depression, and cardiovascular disease exacerbate the association, but insomnia appears to be an independent risk factor. Why that's important is that with all the inflammatory-based issues going around nowadays, if you're not sleeping, you're further exacerbating potential risk. So the goal is to fix that insomnia. 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. 1.5 hours of deep, 2+ hours of REM, and that's going to enable you to truly heal the body. Sleep is one of the great healers of the body. So do whatever you need to in order to be able to fix the cortisol levels or the low magnesium or whatever it is that's keeping you from getting a good night's sleep. And trust me, as a former insomniac, which I was, it can be fixed once you find that underlying root cause. Okay, so I've got one more study for you. I'm going to see if I can pull it out right here. And this is on a lot of my wellness clients, and maybe even your parents, maybe your grandparents, maybe even you play golf. And it's always been said, and I remember this, and I actually think about it myself, carrying a golf bag is always thought to burn more calories than pulling your golf bag. Now, obviously, riding in a golf cart is going to burn less calories. There's no doubt about it. But I always assumed putting the bag on your shoulder and carrying it was going to burn more calories. Well, here's the thing. This study was actually done in Liverpool, John Moores University, and it was published in the European Journal of Sports Science. And it's a small study. So you can replicate this yourself by literally using most of them. So like a Whoop strap, an Oura ring, maybe even an Apple Watch will show you how many calories that you burned. But for the average person carrying a 15-pound golf bag that contained 14 clubs, there wasn't a significant difference between carrying the bag and pulling it on a cart. So carrying a bag actually was about 688 calories burned over 18 holes, while pulling the bag burned about 756. And the majority of calories simply came from walking the course, which is not radically different than holding the golf clubs or pulling the bag. So I found this to be quite interesting. I really wonder, and I want to know more about the study because I want to know like what age they were. But what I can tell you is this: these were fit golfers. So it may be different for someone that is not fit. And that to me would be interesting in and of itself, because I thought the calories were very low. So 686 or 600, let's just say to 680 to let's say 750. So it was close, right? Between essentially 100 calories, that's all. But when you look at that over 18 holes, let's say that takes 3 to 4 hours minimum to play. So let's just say 3 to 4 hours. These were good golfers. And so when you look at that, you're only talking about 250 calories or so per hour walking. So it seems very low to me. That means these people must have been in incredibly good shape to not burn that many calories from doing it. The calories, whatever they used for a calculator, was skewed low. Now, either way, they were still doing the same calculator based on pulling the cart versus carrying it. So lastly, what I say to you is this: if you're carrying a bag just to get a better workout, that may not actually be the case. And for the most part, I'm not a huge advocate of carrying your golf bag as well, because you typically are carrying a bag over one shoulder. You're changing your posture based on carrying that one bag. In an ideal world, it is easier just to pull it, potentially, unless you don't want to use the word derangement, but it's a little bit severe of the core, meaning tightening any of the erector spinae muscles in the lower back or et cetera. So just wanted to share that with you. I found it to be interesting. I know a lot of my clients who play golf will find that interesting as well. I'll link up the research today at stephencabral.com/2772. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral House Calls answering our community's questions. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.